So we just did a little bit of unit conversions because we were doing metric conversions. And what we saw in all those is that we ended up with the same number, right? It's just the decimal was in a new place. But what if we're converting from, say, the metric system, which we aren't very familiar with, to the English system, which we are? Okay, or vice versa. What's the difference? What's the English system? What kind of units am I looking at in that system? Feet, yards, cups, quarts, pints, gallons, miles, right? When I'm converting in the metric system, am I just moving the decimal? In the English system, am I just moving the decimal? No, we make it really complicated, right? We remember things like there's 12 inches in a foot and 3 feet in a yard. We remember all these various numbers. It would be a whole lot easier just to remember moving the decimal, wouldn't it? Maybe after working those problems, it doesn't seem easier, but if that's what we'd grown up doing, that would be pretty simple, wouldn't it? Okay. I would expect you guys to know how to convert within the metric system. The stuff we've been doing just now, I would expect you to know how to do all that. In other words, I'm not going to give you that metric table on your test. Okay? You should know those prefixes and what they mean. I would expect you to know how to convert from miles to feet. Okay, if you're just staying within the English system, I would expect you to know how to go from cups to gallons, etc. You should know that. But if I ask you to cross that line and go, say, from a metric unit to an English unit, I will give you a conversion to do that. Now, some of you probably know some of those conversions, like how many centimeters or an inch, etc. But I would always give you some kind of conversion to cross that line. Is that clear what I'm saying, what I expect you to know and what I'll give you? Okay. Let's say I'm going to run 3 miles. How many kilometers is that, or kilometers? And I would give you the conversion that there's 1,609 meters in 1 mile. Could you set up and convert 3 miles to kilometers using that information?
Yes.
Okay? Let's work that one together. What am I going to start with in this conversion? I'm going to start with the 3 miles. Okay? Because that's what I'm given in the problem. And I'm going to set up a conversion factor like so. Some of y'all might have learned to set it up T-chart form. That's fine. This is just how I do it. I need miles to cancel, don't I? So since I need miles to cancel, that unit's going to go on the bottom. Since it's on the numerator here, I'm going to put miles in the denominator here, and that way they'll cancel. I want my answer to be in what? Kilometers. So, can I put kilometers on the top? There's more than one right way to work it. I can go ahead and put kilometers on the top, or I can put meters on the top because that's what I'm given in my conversion. But guys, if I know that there's 1,609 meters in a mile, could I figure out how many kilometers are in a mile? How? Because to go from meter to kilometer, it's a difference of how many decimal places? 3. Do I move the decimal left or right? Left. So this is 1,609 meters. Wouldn't that be the same as 1.609 kilometers? That's just doing a meter-kilometer conversion. And so now I know that 1.609 goes here, and 1 goes here. How did I know to put the 1.609 on the top and the 1 on the bottom? Well, I need miles to cancel, and the 1.609 goes with the kilometers, and the 1 goes with the mile, right? Is the conversion always going to be the number over 1? Not necessarily. It just depends on what units it goes with, right? So then I plug in 3 times 1.609 divided by 1, and tell me what you get. Right, 4.827 kilometers. How many sig figs do I use in my answer? This number determines sig figs. Never use your conversion factors for sig figs because these are absolute numbers. They're in exactly 1 mile, there's 1.609 kilometers. So really this 1 mile, y'all, it has an infinite number of sig figs. It's 1.0000000 miles is 1.609 kilometers. Those are exact numbers. So don't use your conversion factors for sig figs. Use what you start with, which is the 3.0. So I would actually report 4.8 kilometers for my answer. Okay? Like you asked, you said, could I first use the 1,609 miles? 1,609 meters to miles, and then go meters to kilometers? You can. There's more than one right path to the answer, but we should all get 4.8 kilometers for an answer. Okay? Let's work another one. Let's say, y'all, that we're in the market for a new vehicle that gets better gas mileage than what we have. So what kind of gas mileage do you get? Does anybody think you get bad gas mileage on your car? Okay, what kind of gas mileage are we talking? You get 14 miles per gallon. So anything better than 14 miles per gallon, if I've got the money for a new car, that's good. Well, what if I go and I'm looking, and instead of it saying 14 miles per gallon on that little sticker in the window, what if you see a vehicle that gets 9.2 kilometers per liter? Is that better than 14 miles per gallon? I don't know. What are you going to have to do? I mean, that's comparing, you can't compare those numbers, right? 14 is bigger than 9.2, so at first glance I might think, well, I'm getting better gas mileage than that, but am I? Because this is kilometers per liter. What do you need to do so you can know for sure if this is better gas mileage? You need to change one of them, okay? Let's take the 9.2 kilometers per liter and let's convert that to miles per gallon. And y'all know I could write miles per gallon like this. Miles per gallon. How am I used to seeing it though? I'm used to seeing it in PG, but realize that this is what it means, MI over GAL. So we just worked with one conversion in that previous problem that'll get us between the kilometers and the miles, right? So we already know that 1.609 kilometers is equal to a mile. Does anybody know a liter-gallon conversion? There's 3.7 liters in a gallon. Now you take that information and see what you can set up and come up with, and then we'll work it together. We're converting 9.2 kilometers per liter to miles per gallon, so I have to start with the 9.2 kilometers per liter. I can only convert one unit at a time, okay? So I want to do this in more than one step. Do y'all want to take kilometers? Do you see that we're going from kilometers to miles and liters to gallons? Doesn't matter which one of those you convert first. Which one do you guys want to convert first? The liters? Okay, so if I'm first going to convert liters, and it does not matter if you did it the other way, you should still get the same right answer. If I've got to get rid of liters, that means liters has to go on the top, so it'll cancel. Agreed? And gallons has to go on the bottom. And that means the number I'm going to put with the liters is 3.7, and the number I'm going to put with the gallons is 1, because that's how liters and gallons will be equivalent to each other. And at this stage, liters would cancel out. And if I were to stop right here and have an answer, my units would be kilometers per gallon. But I don't want kilometers per gallon, I want miles per gallon. So in my next step, what units go on the bottom? Kilometers. Miles goes on the top. 1 mile is 1.609 kilometers. And at this point, the kilometers will cancel. I'll be left with miles per gallon, and I plug that into my calculator because I'm not just moving a decimal on these, and I get 21 miles per gallon. Is that going to be a feasible vehicle? It's better than 14, right? That's what we said we started with. So 21 miles per gallon is better gas mileage. So maybe I would buy that vehicle. Any questions on that?